ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविरावीर्म एधि वेदस्य माणिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेन अहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋदं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्माम् अवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यत्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। श्रीकृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा जिह्वे पिबस्वामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse number 9. So we'll read the verse first. I've already read Bhagavan Shankaracharya's Bhashya in the last session. So we'll read the first verse first, and then we'll take up from where we left in the last session before moving on to the next verse. Verse number 9. यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर. Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna has put forward in front of us a deep advice about how we all should lead our life. And according to Bhagavan Krishna, Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna, it is definitely true that as compared to inaction, doing an action or engaged in an action is far better in life, and it is going to be far more giving for us in all our life in terms of returns what we can gain using this particular life. But having said that, Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna, through what he said, does not mean to say at all that we should all get 100% engaged in action, meaning or we should only and only focus on action. That's not what Bhagavan Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna's teaching means here. That's what you need to understand. That is true and it is correct that as compared to a person and who is engaged into inaction, or I would say who is turned towards inaction, or who has adapted inaction in his life, or who has gone into the habit of procrastination, or has taken up this thing called laziness in life, and is being dependent on these things in life, and because of being independent on these three things in life, his interest has increased towards being inactive in life, or has his focus in life has moved towards inaction in life rather than going towards action. Definitely it is true that as compared to such a person, the person who is engaged in action and so to say most part of his life, who is hardworking, who wants to, who puts efforts towards what is being done, who is something who really wants to gain something in life, who is completely focused on action, definitely this person and the latter person is far better than the person I described in the former description of a person who is adapting towards or who's gained interest towards inaction. This person is far better in life and definitely is going to gain better in life. Yes, uh, through the efforts being put into action through one's hard work, definitely this person who is putting hard work is going to make it throughout his journey of life. He is going to definitely gain popularity. Yes, that's the truth. Anyone who has worked hard, definitely because of the hard work, is sure or sure to get popularity. That it's besides the point whether the popular, what is the quantum of the popularity. The popularity could be in locality, popularity could be in the society, popularity could be at the level of district, could be the level of state, could be the level of nation, could be the level of region, could be the level internationally. That completely depends on the quantum of effort and hard work put by this man, and how much benefit the surrounding is able to gain. So if through one's work a locality is gaining, this person is definitely surely going to become popular in that particular locality. If the country gains from this person's work, country is definitely going to gain, this person is definitely going to gain popularity at the level of country. You will see that many people get awarded national level awards and all those things. For what? For their contribution towards the field they have worked. It could be cinema, it could be sports, it could be politics, it could be bureaucracy. Any arena could be there. It could be towards social service, it could be towards religious things also. But yes, those people through whose contribution many are able to gain, is surely going to make his or her life journey popular. So that is how the popularity works. And I'll use one more thing here. For the fight of making our country free, for making our country independent, and for making our country free from British rule and all those freedom fighters who worked hard, giving up their personal objectives, giving up their personal interests, giving up their selfish desires, they worked for a higher cause. Higher the cause, higher will be the achievement, and so higher will be the popularity as well. So that it is like directly related to each other. So it's directly correlational to the amount of your contribution in terms of the scale, in terms of the magnitude you contribute. Your popularity is definitely going to be like that. So this person who is working hard towards his or her actions is definitely going to make his or her, during his or her life journey, he himself very popular, so to say, in terms of how the quantum of work he puts up. And also, through hard work, we can also end up creating new prarabdha. Prarabdha means those actions which have reached a level of fructification. Usually for the prarabdha, it is said that the what we face in this life are basically the fruits of action which we have done in the past life or lives. That is the normal definition of prarabdha. But yes, the only exception which is there is, man through his hard work can definitely work hard in such a way, depending upon the severity of his action, he can also create prarabdha for this life also. It could be any arena, good, bad, ugly. I'm not coming to that point, but I'm saying through hard work, definitely a person can make it sure to create new prarabdha for him remaining sitting in this life itself. So many examples I can give you. You can see umpteen examples else, in around the society also. For example, if someone has started a life with seeing too much of poverty in their life, if but worked very hard throughout his life, can also change the status of his poverty to become a rich man also. There are many such examples. Well, another example I can give is that somebody is comes from a family where education, not many people are educated, comes from a poor family, an uneducated family, but yes, through hard work, how many people have gone at a level that they can and churn out their life in such a way that they not only become educated, but they reach heights of education also. I'm giving you many examples. These days you will read, somebody who's a daughter or a son of an auto rickshaw driver has cleared IAS exam, administrative exam, Indian administrative exams, Indian administrative services exam. They have cleared and become an IAS officer. Somebody coming from a very poor family has gained so much that has gained PhD and got scholarship to go to US or somewhere to study, has become scientist also from that. It completely depends upon the severity of your work. If somebody works with this, has high intensity of hard work, high severity of hard work, definitely that person can make sure that he can add up or make prarabdha for this life also. It goes for bad work also, like terrorists and other things also. You can and completely destroy your life as well and gain the result in this life also. That is possible. So it completely, excuse me, completely depends upon the severity of hard work. With severity of hard work, that is why Bhagwan is saying in very clear advice here that we all must focus upon our actions. Through severity of hard work, we can definitely, I would not use the word change our prarabdha, what we have done in the last life that we have to bear, but we can create new result, good results, else which can add up to our prarabdha also for this particular life. So prarabdha, remember, don't forget the definition. Prakarshena arabdha means all those actions which we have done, which have fructified to give fruits or results in this life, fall under the category of prarabdha. What has not fructified yet, but has the action has already been committed in the past life, they remain in something called sanchit karma. Sanchit means those karmas we have earned, but they have not ripened enough to bear fruit at this moment. Those which have become ripened enough to give fruit in this life, they become prarabdha for this particular life. And some prarabdha we can add with the severity of action if we do really core hard work, or intense hard work. Some prarabdha we can create in this life also, oh, even though the action we have done in this particular life. That is how the definition of karma goes, the karma theory goes. So those people who had a completely, living in shallows or living in silos, those people have also risen to gain a lot of popularity through their own hard work. Remember, our action has got this capability to get us this result, and this is something which is very loud and clear, and completely described in our scriptures. Our scriptures are loud and clear about this particular facet of karma. So yes, even if somebody has bad prarabdha, or somebody has bad situations coming in life, through hard work in this particular life can add up new good results also. So let's not blame prarabdha all the time. So today's discussion will be there. In the next verse, I'm going to pick it up in a little bit detail about this thing also. We'll take it there when we talk about that. So this is how the prarabdha talks about. We can definitely gain, and I told you in the second chapter, verse number 47, when I spoke about karmani eva adhikarhate, at that time I said we cannot choose the result, but we definitely have a freedom of choice of our action. It is not right to say, since I am getting in, not getting good results or good fruits in this life, I will not do good actions also. That is our own clear stupidity, lack of understanding, and foolishness. In in rather than and saying that, if we change that statement and adapt one policy in life, that doesn't matter what I receive in life, but I'll make sure that I'll do good things to earn good, at least from this life onwards. Yes, that can be done. Man has got that freedom of choice. It completely depends what we choose on life. So that is why Bhagavan is saying very clearly, don't fall back into the bracket of getting into procrastination, laziness, and inaction. With your action you can definitely make your life. And remember, action can be towards spiritual effort also, action can be towards worldly efforts also, action can be towards any kind of effort also. But it completely depends. There are people who say that, I think I only told in one of the podcasts before, I don't remember any single karma I've done in this life to reach Vedant. But I clearly see that it's purely grace and blessings of Bhagwan and alone that he made me reach Guru, and then grace and blessings of Guru who also got passed on to me to be here wherever I am. In whatever little I've reached here, it's only because of the grace and blessings of Bhagwan and Guru. So that is one thing we need to remember. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what situation you receive, because they are all result of your own karma only. We don't reap, or we don't get the fruits of somebody else's karma. Please absolve your understanding, make your understanding clear about that. If we are getting something in life, it is purely because of our own karma. But yes, we still have a choice, that with what we receive, what we do, and what is ahead of us, how we can churn them to gain better results. So I'm going to talk about that as we move along on in this particular verse. The Sanatan Dharma philosophy, he always keeps on motivating us, keeps on inspiring us, that we all should become hardworking. We should all focus on our efforts, and we should all focus on our actions constantly. We should never lose our alertness and vigilance towards our action. We should never lose a moment that we end up what do you call that, not doing hard work at all, or not putting efforts correctly. Puja Gurudev used to say it very beautifully: if I rest, I rust. Like, iron which is kept like that, it will, catch up rust depending upon the weather and all those things, if it is not put into use. In the same way, if we rest, we will rust. That's when I use the word, say, if I rest means I rest, I will rust. Rust means rust. So I'll gather rust over there. So it is better that let's continuously move into action. I'm just giving you another example here. You buy a expensive swanky car, but you don't drive it. It keeps on remaining there in your garage. So what will happen to it? It will become a junk. The same way, the biggest property of the body is that body should keep moving. And that is one of the reasons these days there are a lot of focus going on health and other things. But there are many, many facets we should remember. Health is also an effort. Of course, you are maintaining your body, but don't get caught up in maintaining your body so much that you get attached to it, and you leave aside the bigger objective which is supposed to be gained with this body. Body is just a medium. Medium needs your or thing. I'm just giving you a same example which I just gave a few minutes ago. You bought a swanky car, doesn't mean that you will keep on looking at the car and decorating the car and spending your 24 hours a day, 365 days a year with the car, right? It will be there in the garage, you use it, then you keep it there. You're not hanging on to it all the time, right? In the same way, body is also your car. It's also your vehicle to pass through this particular life. It's only a vehicle. It has also got its time limit. It has also got a start. It has also got an end. So don't get overtly attached to it so much that when the time comes to leave this body, it becomes too difficult for you to leave. Don't gain so much attachment with the body. That is one of the reasons why Bhagwan is very clear. Asakta. He's loud and clear about it, that become free from attachment. Gain that thing, dispassion towards everything in life, because apart from you, everything else is temporary. When I say you, I'm not talking about you in the form of your body. How you identify yourself is different. I'm talking about the supreme consciousness, the self which is within us. Apart from that, nothing else in this world is permanent. Everything is temporary. Even there are examples which come these days also, that people are trying to gain that I live forever. I'm sorry, many have tried in the past also, and many have not been able to gain that. It is never going to happen. And that you will live forever. You will live forever means what? I would use the word which Puja Gurudev used to say. Everybody dies, everybody dies, but nobody dies. Actually, we have to find out that at deeper meaning of this statement, that everybody has to die, but we who is sitting inside this has a bigger journey to go, and it is definitely not limited to this body at all. Using this body, many have gained swarga and higher lokas also, and using this body alone, many have gained in permanent liberation also. They have got self-realization also, but using this body only. Using this body, many have gone down the drain also, gone down to lower lokas also, using this body only. So it is a vehicle. Vehicle doesn't define your or direction. Vehicle doesn't define your destination. Destination has to be defined by the driver who is sitting inside it. And the driver can take the same vehicle to a gorge also. Driver can take the same vehicle to a pilgrimage also. It completely depends on you. Driver can take the same vehicle to a beautiful destination also. Driver can take the same vehicle to the worst places also. But the choice, it doesn't go on the vehicle at all. It completely depends upon the driver. So Bhagwan, our Vedic philosophy, Sanatan Dharma Vedic philosophy, keeps on giving this inspiration that definitely a person, if you are born into a human life, must be effortful, hardworking, and focus. In our intellect, we should gain respect towards hard work. It's very important. Many people don't respect hard work at all. I've seen certain people who by chance get into the positions of managers and leaders also, because they have not gone through that route. They keep on asking some employees that, why are you working so hard? Where have you reached? See where I am reached. I've not worked hard at all. My dear, it's your prarabdha, you have reached there, but it's not going to stay with you forever. You have to just understand that. And the only focus we need to do is that the karma the action we are doing should not be falling into the category of nishiddha karma. Nishiddha karma means prohibited action. Prohibited action means killing someone, destroying someone, troubling someone. They are all prohibited action. So yes, we must focus on action. We must make sure that the action we focus upon should not be prohibited action. Even if the action is small in nature, doesn't matter. Action doesn't become small or big, according to that thing. And I'm going to give you certain examples also about this particular result. There are people who come and say even today that I started as a laborer. I started working as a laborer, I'll give you quote few examples without taking the names, because I don't want you all to feel that I'm biased. Why didn't I take this name? That is one of the reason why I completely abstain from taking names. I may give you many examples of people, but I don't take names, because some people may see that oh, he took my name, so I'm special. Others may feel, I do not know why I ignored those names. There are many such people. I cannot list down all of them. I don't have information about all of them anyway, but I can, as an example, give you there are people who have started at the level of a laborer, and today they are like one of the big industrialists also. So you can see that, and if they would have thought this way, that this work is so small, let me drop this, they would not have reached where they have reached today. So work, we should not see how big and small that work is. Work is work. We should put our effort towards it, and the more we put our effort towards it, remember one thing, that becomes our route to grow in life. That is very important for us to understand. Those people who have grown like this in life, if they, when they were working, they would have thought this work is very small, or this work is not good at all, remember, by that kind of a thought, they would have done and inflicted insult upon the karma. They would have put down the karma, so to say. We need to remember one secret in life, which I'm telling you through this particular verse, that the one who is giving us action is God himself. Karma dene wala upar wala hai. Upar wala means God is the one who is giving us action. That is what we need to understand. Since he is the one who is assigning us action according to our own level, remember, he is always watching on us. No one of us is ever hidden from his eyes. We need to understand and make this very, very clear in our mind. Remember, whatever work we get, remember, we always get work from somebody else, isn't it? We can't say that I created work with all by myself, and all by I'm going to do myself only. No, we are all given work by somebody else only. And this is true at the level of body also. Now, for some people, somebody wants to make them educated and give them degree. Somebody wants to make them do that, so they will put them into studies, they will give them scholarship, and somebody will give them degree. Remember, uh, if somebody wants to be given position also, somebody else is going to give you that position, right? Somebody wants to get promotion also, somebody is going to give you promotion. Remember, all that we get in life always comes from somebody else. This is a fact of life we should all know. In this world, there is nobody in this world, no person in this world who can say that I chose the fruits which I'm getting in my life on my own. No, it is not possible at all. This option is not available to any one of us. We don't choose our fruits of life or the results we get in life. It's always given to us by somebody or the other, in some form or the other. So this is why in the 47th verse of second chapter, Bhagavan said, Karmani eva adhikara. Eva word is there. We human beings have only and only right on our action, freedom of our action. Result, ma phaleshu kadachana, never ever we have any freedom upon the fruits we receive in life, because depending upon the actions we have done, fruit will come to us. We cannot choose that I'll take this, I'll not take that. You're not at a a fruit seller's place to pick and choose your own fruit. It's not like that. The fruit which or the results we receive in life is always based on the actions which we have done, and at the level of receiving those fruits we have no choice at all. We cannot say that I'll only take this, I'll not take that. Try it. You don't have that choice at all. We only have freedom of action. We all have that, remember, huh? All human beings have that. And we can only do those actions which have been received by us. Depending upon the situation, we'll receive action, and we have to work according through those actions itself. Remember, God is watching over us, watching over our actions. This is a faith you must have very firm in your head, in your mind, that the one, if God is the one, and one of the name of supreme consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna, and supreme consciousness itself, or God, one of the biggest role or one of the biggest name of God is Karma Phala Data. Karma Phala Data means in Vedic Sanatan Dharma we call Ishwar as Karma Phala Data. Karma Phala Data means all those actions we have done, and Bhagwan on chairs that department, and he makes sure that everybody receives the result of their own actions only. There are times where company can make mistake giving you salary or giving your salary to someone, or bank can do a mistake of transferring your money to someone without notice, or all those things. But remember, in the account of supreme consciousness, in the account of Ishvara, in the account of God, there is not even a wee bit chance of error. Wee bit is the word I'm using. So that is why one of the name of Ishvara is Karma Phala Data. He is the one who is watching over all of us. Have firm faith in that. That my Puja Guruji Swami Subhadanand used to say it very beautifully. We must know that we are all being watched by someone or the other. So for us, one of the entities which is keeping an eye on us or keeping watch on us is that, when I say eye on us, don't think that he's intruding into your privacy. He is the one who is sarva vyap. He is all pervasive. There is no place where he is not there. There is no place in this whole creation. I'm not even using world. In this whole creation, put all the cosmos together, there is not even a wee bit place where he is not there. So we are all under his eyes, under his vision all the time. So remember, God becomes one of the biggest factor and cause of our development and also our downfall, because his name is what? Karma Phala Data. If we have done wrong, be sure the result is going to come to you. Sometimes I'll say this thing to you, that many criminals, they escape the law for a particular period of time. Okay, they may escape for a period of time, but remember, it is said that the hands of law are very big. Kanun ke haath bahut lambe hain. They say that it's very big, it's very huge, that it can catch anyone. That is a way they say it. But I'm saying, all those criminals who think that they have befooled others and moved on and tried to escape all those things, they will all get caught one day, because satyameva jayate nanvatam. Our Upanishad is loud and clear about that. Satya alone will win. And for example, if somebody without even getting punished loses life, please remember there is a bigger punishment waiting for you after life. Don't think that you're going to escape that at all. You may have got a particular punishment here, but if your action deserves bigger punishment, the remaining is waiting for you in the other life. So be very sure about it, that God becomes one of the facilitating source of making sure that those who deserve developing in life, those who deserve growing in life, will grow for sure, because he is omnipresent. He is present everywhere. There is not even a, what do you call that, a dot kind of a place also available in this whole creation where God is not present. So remember, nobody is outside his line of sight. Nobody is the word I'm using. And it is said by, in our scriptures also, जैसे जिसकी चाकरी वैसी वाको देवे. So is one's doing, so does God make sure that he or she gets the result. Remember, and this is how the whole cosmos is being made. I tell you, there is a perfect arrangement in this cosmos. There is nothing wrong in this cosmos. If there is something wrong, that has only been created by we humans. We are the one who are most destructive that way. We have messed up the whole world. But remember, we are not above God at all. So don't think we own the earth that way. He is the one who is the creator. He owns the earth also. He owns the entire cosmos also, and he owns us also. That's one thing we all must know. So there was one person whose story I heard from Puja Guruji, that he was only he has only cleared till class 2 in his whole life, and because he has only studied till class 2nd, has not studied further at all. So he got the job of a guard, chowkidar we call it, a guard at uh, at a particular place. And remember, no work is good or bad. Huh? From the level of work, don't count anything good or bad. Yes, depending upon the intent and the result it's going to drive, it can become prohibited and allowed action. That's a different thing. But in itself, no action is good or bad. That way, no action is small or big. We need to understand that this option is not there with any of us to see whether our what we have received is good, bad, ugly, or whatever, because that's how it is, depending upon our own karma. So this person was guarding a particular place, a locality. So in the night, he used to walk with, at that time it used to be laltain means the what do you call that, lit lamp. And he used to walk with that lamp, guarding the whole locality. And every hour he used to whistle, so that they call in those times they used to say jagte raho and all those things, that that somebody is there who's watching in you and protecting you. So I am awake. So it used to keep criminals at bay, that somebody is walking there and all those things. So that was the work he had, because he's not studied much. So, and he has to be awake in the night also. But slowly, gradually, this person, because he used to rest in the daytime, he started reading Ramcharitmanas. This is an example I'm giving you. Puja Guruji only gave me. Then his interest developed, and even though he was only studied till class 2, his interest developed slowly. He started to develop interest towards, as mathematics and geography and other things. And remember, God is watching. God is watching on all of us. So what happened? One day somebody saw him studying or anything, and this person called this person to the office. He called him to the office and said that, I see you have interest in study and all those things, and you currently are working as a guard in that locality. I can give you a little bit higher work. So why don't you join as a guard in our company? So he joined the company then. And slowly, gradually, because of this person's work was very good, and he has interest in hard work, he has interest in studying and all those things, he also continuously upskilled himself, is the word I'll use in these, it's a corporate jargon. Upskilled himself. So he slowly, gradually, from a guard he got promoted to a clerk. From the clerk he became a manager, and slowly, gradually, growing that way, he became one of the industrialists in Guwahati. This is an example which Puja Guruji gave of someone. And remember, that is the power of action we all should know. If a person is dedicatingly focused, dedicated towards his work, remember, the result is definitely going to be reaped by this person, and that is for sure. If this person would not have been dedicated and focused on his action, focus on adding on upskilling himself, focus on developing himself, remember, he would have till date remained as a guard in the locality only. He would not have reached where he has reached. So the power of action never ever downplay the power of action. Action is definitely powerful. And one bigger thing you need to remember is, with supreme consciousness, or at the place of Ishvara, at the level of Ishvara, he has got, or no dearth of anything in this world. Remember, everything in this cosmos, everyone in this cosmos belongs to him. Every property actually belongs to him. So what is that is not possible for God to fulfill for you? And he has no dearth of anything with him. So since he has no dearth of anything with him, he will never keep with the your pay or your labor money with him. He doesn't want your anything, actually, to be honest with you. And when God gives, no, he always gives you extra. That's the beauty, that you have to experience it yourself. When he gives, na, it is said in our Hindi, there is a word, जब ईश्वर देता है तो छप्पर फाड़ के देता है. छप्पर फाड़ के means he will break all limits to give you. The beauty of God is, first of all, he owns everything in this cosmos. He has got no dearth of anything in this cosmos at all. He can give you anything. Not forget about money, power, or whatever. He can give you loka and other things also. But there are devotees I've seen who God goes to them and asks them that, what do you want from me? He says, God, please give me yourself. I want nothing at all. You take the example of Arjun. Bhagwan asked, Arjun, you have two options. Either I will come with you for the war without any weapon at all, because I'll not touch weapon, or you, on the other hand, you can get my Narayan Sena. Narayan Sena means his own army. So Arjun said, Bhagwan, I have no doubt I want you. Who wants you with weapon? I don't want you. I need your presence. I need you in my life. I don't want anything in this world. Nothing in this world actually attracts me more than you, God. And that is the level of certain devotees. And I have already praised Arjun when I took up that verse in the second chapter. So when God gives, no, remember, he will not only give you for what you worked, he will always give you extra. He is like those leaders who you can work for. You don't have to think about your promotion, you don't have to think about your raise, you don't have to think about your performance appraisal, nothing at all. Remember, he will always keep you at the level. He'll always keep you motivated. That's the beauty of God. Only those who work for God can understand that. When he gives, he'll open up everything. And one biggest example I can give you is, in Srimad Bhagavad, the example comes of the friend called Sudama of Bhagwan Krishna. Sudama was a very poor man, but a very great friend of Bhagwan Krishna when he was studying in Gurukul. So he was very poor, but he was very devoted and a big devotee of Bhagwan Krishna. So one day his wife said, your friend Bhagwan Krishna is so rich, he lives in a palace and all those things. I don't want you to ask anything, but he can surely help you, and we really need to have money to help our kids grow and develop and all those things. So you know with little bit keeping back at the mind, he said, okay, I'll go, but remember, I'll not ask anything. He told his wife very clearly. She said, okay, Baba, don't ask anything, just go and meet him, and I'm sure he's Bhagwan, he knows everything, he'll give you. Sudama also went to Bhagwan, and Bhagwan is Bhagwan. He went, and when Sudama reached the gate, guards stopped him. Bhagwan scolded those guards. He went to the gate to get him to his palace. He made Sudama sit down. He washed his feet. He made Sudama sit down on his throne and all, and he served Sudama. And at the end, he asked, you came all the way. I'm sure Bhaviji, that means your wife, must have sent something for me. Sudama was very hesitant. I'm such a poor man. He's living in such rich palace and all. How can I offer what my wife has sent? So Bhagwan said, no, no, I'm very sure you are hiding something. Bhagwan snatched it from him and ate. And then Sudama felt very bad about that. Sudama didn't ask anything, and he went back. Now, on the way, he was thinking, my wife will scold me that I didn't ask anything. When he reached his place, suddenly there was a huge palace and all those things, and his wife is dressed like a queen and walking out and welcoming. He got shocked. What happened? And overnight, things have completely changed. This is how Bhagwan gives. So, there is a great pleasure in working for God. And I to keep on telling very clearly, I'm not working for any organization and all. Why? Because I love working for my boss, and my boss is Bhagwan Krishna. Bhagwan Krishna is my leader. Let him decide what I will, I don't want to ask him for or things. And also, why? Because let him decide if he wants to give also, if he doesn't want to give also, it's his wish. So that is the story of Sudama I was talking about, that there is no dearth of anything for Bhagwan. Of course, when it comes to giving, he gives you more only. He will always give you extra. Why? He wants to see that you are happy, and he is very happy when you devote, with utmost devotion, work for him. That is why it is said, karma jayo hi akarmana. As compared to inaction, karma is far, far greater. So the first, elaboration which Bhagwan has done, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna has done, first explanation which Bhagwan Krishna has given is about this thing, that uh, we as human being must make effort to come out of this attitude of inaction, and we should carve out a life which is where action is primary for us. We must have carve out a life where we have good clear focus on our action. That is the first thing which Bhagwan has expounded in this particular topic. The second thing Bhagwan said is that if you do this action with the attitude of yajna, with the attitude of sacrifice, it is far better than doing any other action. In amongst the action, this is far more superior. If you are you moved out of inaction to action, you are not only doing an action, rather than only doing an action or only doing selfish action, you are doing an action with the attitude of yajna or sacrifice. Bhagwan says, tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. And so Bhagwan, highlighted two things here that we must do along with action. What is that? Mukta sanga, and the same word Bhagwan has coined as asakta also, at a place where Bhagwan said asakta. So asakta also is the word which Bhagwan has said here. In the verse number 7, Bhagwan said, na karma yogam asaktasya vishishyate. So asakta, Bhagwan said one place, the same word Bhagwan has coined as mukta sanga here in this particular verse. So Bhagwan has very clearly laid emphasis on these two words while doing action. And only if we have these two things as part of our action, and we do action with these two things at the back end, then remember, that is when we will be establishing in ourselves in karma yoga. And the moment we establish in karma yoga, the first thing which is going to happen is that our own personal selfish resolve will start getting dropped off slowly, gradually. And the attraction we have towards, or infatuation and attraction we have towards our own selfish interest, the importance we give to them, that will slowly gradually start dropping, and that should drop. It should slowly gradually drop away from our life. If in our life somebody is so special should enter our life, in front of whom we are easily ready, or I would say that easily ready to give up our resolves and our own desires, our own selfish desires, and giving up our desires and our own resolves, we feel happy in front of that ideal who has entered our life. Remember that thing. And slowly, gradually, by giving up our desires and resolves also, we start to gain, or we start to experience some kind of happiness within us. Remaining in whose control, remaining under whom we feel happy about, such person should enter our life, and that is what that one person is going to be God. And this is what we should focus in our attitude towards karma yoga. That is what I want to explain here. If we are not able to do action in such a way, then the other option we have is have remembrance of God, remembering God, or looking up to his happiness, end up doing your work. Focus your work as an offering to God. Keep remembering God in all your actions. That is another thing you can do to gain the same result what is explained here. So before we move into the next verse, let's read Puja Gurudev's commentary. He and see one thing I want to say. You will see that I'm reading Puja Gurudev's commentary, and almost at the once completion of every verse there is a big reason behind it. Puja Gurudev is a realized saint. His and He's not only has great command over Vedanta and the subject, and of being a self-realized master, his command over the language is also very good. So I read the verse so that in our explanation, if something has got missed out, let's pick it up from Puja Gurudev, because the way he expounds upon the things, it's far above brilliance. His language is also brilliant, and the way he puts up things is also brilliant. That is one of the reasons why after completing every verse I read Puja Gurudev's commentary, so that we know if we have not covered or touched something, let it get covered over here. So Puja Gurudev's commentary on verse number 9. Puja Gurudev says, every action does not bring about bondages upon the doer. It is only unintelligent activities that thicken the impressions in the mind and thus successfully build a thick and impenetrable wall between the ego center and the unlimited divine spark of life in us. Every action motivated by egocentric desires thickens the veil and permits not even a single ray of the essential divinity to peep through it, to illumine the life in us. According to the traditional translation, all activities other than the yajna activities will bring about vasana bondages, and the individual's ultimate development and growth will be arrested. Yajna here means any self-sacrificing work undertaken in a spirit of self-dedication for the blessing of all. Such an action cannot be self-degrading, and therefore it is self-liberating. The following stanzas also will become more and more clear and universally appropriate in their meaning only when we understand yajna as any social, communal, national, or personal activity into which the individual is ready to pour himself forth entirely in a spirit of service and dedication. Only when people come forward to act in a spirit of cooperation and self-dedication can the community get itself freed from its shackles of poverty and sorrow. This is a fact endorsed by history, and such activities can be undertaken in a spirit of divine loyalty only when the worker has no attachment. Arjuna's defect was that he got too attached to the individuals in the opposing forces, and he developed consequently wrong relationships with them. Therefore, he came to feel that he must run away from the field of work that had presented itself before him. That is what Puja Gurudev has to say in commentary of this particular verse. One more thing I'll add before I move into the next verse. One yajna bhav you all must think of in personal life is when parents take care of their children, newborns, when they are newborn. There are times when parents do selflessly for kids. You don't expect any immediate result, but the actual result of the parent is when the kid is satisfied, or kid is smiling, or kid is happy. For every parent, the first endeavor will be that my kid should not cry, my kid should not feel pain. And when they smile or laugh, that really takes away all your tiredness and pain. Now let me ask you, is that not yajna spirit there? Bhagwan beautifully explains that I have planted this yajna spirit in everyone by default. Everyone in this creation has got that yajna spirit, it planted in each one of us when we were created, and by the creator himself. That is what Bhagwan is bringing up in the next particular verse, verse number 10. So I'll elaborate this more over there, where Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji connects this verse number 9 to verse number 10. He says, is in his Sambandh Bhashya, Itah cha adhikritena karma kartavyam. And now going ahead, Bhagwan is going to explain the reason why we should all end up doing action with a yajna bhav. Why doing action with yajna bhav is important, and why it is imperative for all of us to get into action in that particular mode. That is what Bhagwan is going to explain in the next particular verse. So due to this is reason which Bhagwan is going to explain further. Also, it is important that we all must focus on our action and give up any kind of bend of mind towards inaction, procrastination, or laziness. Now we move into verse number 10. I'll read the verse first, then I'll take read Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya, and then we'll take up the meaning. So verse number 10. सह यज्ञाः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एषवोस्त्विष्टकामधुक् सह यज्ञाः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एषवोस्त्विष्टकामधुक्. Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji is Bhashya for this particular verse. Sah yajna yajna sahitaha praja trayo varnaha taha srishtva utpadya pura sargadau uvacha uktavan prajapatihi prajanam srishta anena yajnena prasavishyadhvam prasavo vriddhihi उत्पत्तिः ताम कुरुध्वम एष यज्ञः वो युष्माकम् अस्तु भवतु इष्टकामधुक् इष्टान् अभिप्रेतान् कामान् फलविशेषान् दोग्धि इति इष्टकामधुक्. Brilliant verse again here. If you recall, in the last verse I explained you a little bit about Prajapati. Now, I told you I'll pick it up in more detail in this particular verse. First, I'll make you understand the Prajapati. Now, the etymology of the word Prajapati is Prajanam Patihi. Okay, the one who is the creator of Praja. Creator of Praja means creator of all of us. Praja means people, is subjects, so to say. So, and Prajanam Patihi also becomes Prajapati, the one who protects his subjects. So here, one meaning of the word Prajapati is the creator himself, supreme consciousness. Okay, one meaning of the word Prajapati. I told you in Sanskrit one word has many meanings. So I have to take up the right meaning here. In the last session, I explained you about Prajapati in a different connotation. Okay, now our many rishis also fall under the category of Prajapati, like Daksha Prajapati, Kashyap Prajapati, Vashishta Prajapati. They are all the ones in whom the lineage rolls up into. Okay, so they are all Manas Putras or mental children of Brahmaji. So Prajapati, one meaning is the creator himself, which gets denoted by supreme consciousness. We can call Bhagwan Krishna, Narayana, Devi, Shiva. We can call them that way. But from them came Brahmaji. From Bhagwan Narayana came Brahmaji. So Brahmaji also qualifies to become Prajapati because from him came Srishti. Remember that, huh? Of course, the ultimate creator is supreme consciousness, who we can denote by the name Bhagwan Krishna, Rama, Narayana, Bhagwan Shiva, any name you can take. So that's one way to understand. So creator is Prajapati and Brahmaji is also Prajapati. Why? Because the creator created Brahmaji and from Brahmaji came the whole creation. Then what Brahmaji did, Brahmaji had some Manas Putra, mental children, and of them is first is Swayambhu, Manu, etc. The four kids. Then Naradji is also Brahmaji's Manas Putra. They both said, we don't want to get into creation at all. Don't look up to us. Swayambhu Manu and all, they were born and they said, thank you very much. She said, go and expand the creation. Swayambhu Manu said, nothing doing. Thank you very much. It was good to see you. Our life is dedicated to Bhagwan Narayana. So we are walking the path. They became sannyasi and they went away. Naradji to became already sannyasi from this previous life itself. He's already had gained spiritual thing and all. So Naradji said, don't ask me also. Then Brahmaji said, how is the creation going to run? Then he created the other rishis, we call them, Daksha Prajapati, Angiras, Kashyap, Vashishta, so on and so forth. The list of Prajapatis goes. So, in every yuga, you will hear different names of Prajapatis. Don't get confused by that. They are also Prajapati. So, now Prajapati has got three meanings. One is the creator himself, supreme consciousness, who we can call by the name Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Rama, Narayana, Bhagwan Shiva and all. Then, and Prajapati is Brahmaji because he was the one who was given what you call that, work to, he was given the task to go and create or move on with the creation. So from Brahmaji, what he did, he further created further beings, and from them he said, you expand the creation. So three meanings of Prajapati came. The first two definition of Prajapati is clear. One is the creator himself, of Bhagwan himself, and then Brahmaji is also being termed as Prajapati, the second definition of Prajapati. The third definition of Prajapati is those rishis who further got the responsibility to expand the creation, in whom the lineages roll up into. Some names I am giving you just for your reference. In the third category of Prajapati, Marichi, Atri, Angiras, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kritu, Vashishta, Daksha, Bhrigu, and so on and so forth. It goes there, Kardama and all. That's how the Prajapati list goes on. So these three are Prajapati. But remember, I explained you for a purpose that you don't hear different things from different places. You should have a clarity when you come to study Sanatan scriptures. So here in this verse, the Prajapati word refers to the creator himself and not to the other two. Please remember that. I'm explaining you so that you know. It is a piece of information we should all know. Otherwise, people come to me and say, you said Prajapati something different. I heard Prajapati definition something different. So I'm only picking up it here as a Purva Paksha, that before even you ask, I'm giving you so that you know what it is. So here, for this particular verse of Bhagwan Krishna, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna, Prajapati refers to the creator himself. So he says, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna says, Prajapati Uvacha. Prajapati said. The creator said. What did the creator said? Bhagwan Supreme Consciousness, after creating the creation, after the creation came about, he said, how did he create this creation? How did this creation come about? What effort did he put to get this creation out, or release this creation, or get this creation come into existence? So he says here, Prajapati Uvacha, Saha Yajna Praja Srishtva. He created this creation, or he established this creation. How? By way of Yajna. Saha Yajna. He created this creation with the attitude of Yajna. Now here, let me see if I want to explain it here, or I may take it up in the next session. The attitude with which you create, that in that created also, that intent and attitude comes. Okay, this is a little bit deep to understand. Here, I'm not going into the biological cycle at all right now, because then the topic will become very big. Some other time we may pick it up. There are many topics I'm parking for, when I have personal discussion with people, it will be easy to do rather than picking it up here, because it is not important here also. So with whatever attitude you create, that intent or that attitude gets passed on to the one which is created also. So here it is said, Saha Yajna Praja Srishtva. He With the attitude of yajna, with the attitude of sacrifice, he created this creation, or he commissioned this creation, or he established this creation. Meaning what? When he created this creation, along with the created, he also planted this thought of yajna bhavana. Yajna bhavana means this attitude of sacrifice is embedded in each one of us by default. That is what is meant by here. Not that it is something which we had borrowed from outside. It is not something which has been created from outside. It is not something which has come to us from outside. It is inherent in all of us, because that is how the creator created us. When he created us, he created with the bhavana of yajna. Because he created with the bhavana of yajna, the bhav of yajna has come into us. So, oh, this is the thing which we need to remember. What does it mean that Bhagwan understands this thing, and Bhagwan is explaining to all of us that in each one of us, Yajna Bhavana, or the attitude of sacrifice, is embedded by default. How much we take it out to express is a different thing. I'm not coming to that point, but it is automatically there. You do not have to borrow it from outside. In Sanskrit we say it is naisargik. Means what? It is by default in all of us. From birth it is there. It has not to be acquired from outside at all. Remember, the attitude of sacrifice is actually pervading in us. It's actually embedded in all of us. It's actually planted in all of us. It is not something which we have to borrow. It is not something which we have to fake. It is not something which we have to show off. It is there by default. So that is one thing we need to understand from this verse. I told you it's a little bit longer verse. And one more thing I'm telling you, there are many deep aspects of this verse. So this verse is definitely going to take more sessions, because I want you to understand the depth of this particular verse. There are many, many deep topics which are hidden inside it. And all of the topics which I take up in this verse, please pay attention and listen to it clearly. If you do not understand in first listening, do not shy away from listening it again. We are not so good that in one listening itself we'll understand everything. Don't have a thought like that. So sometimes we may have to listen again, and because spiritual topics are deep, they are subtle, and most of us, our intellect and mind is actually gross in nature, so it cannot grasp subtle subjects in one go. It takes time. So many times people have come and told me that I listened to your, or one episode once, but when I listened to it again, I understood a completely different meaning altogether. So that is what we need to understand from this particular thing. So whenever you listen to it, please go deeper and think over the verse. There are deeper meanings hidden inside the verse. So I'm going to explain you in that particular form and manner. Supreme consciousness, Bhagwan, has created this creation with this yajna, along with this yajna, along with sacrifice embedded in it. So Bhagwan is not giving us any advice or any teaching which is not possible for us at all. He is not giving any such teaching at all. Whatever he's saying is definitely possible for all of us. The only thing is that we have to give focus towards it, and we have to adapt such thing in life. Since we are all born with this attitude of sacrifice, we are all born with this thought of sacrifice planted in all of us. Because of that, if we as human beings follow a life of sacrifice, and we have this attitude of swaha adopted in our life, then remember, we are living a life which is natural. That is the natural way of living life. Natural way of living life is what? But with the attitude of sacrifice, with the attitude of doing for others, not having too much selfish desire or alone as the focus. If we live a life according to that, that means we are living a natural life. But in case one decides to lead a life which is devoid of this word sacrifice or this aspect called sacrifice in life, if one decides to lead a life which is devoid of such things, that, or meaning what, wants to lead a selfish life for himself or herself, then remember that person is living a unnatural life, is living a below natural life, is leading a wrong way of life. And remember, may find right now things may be hunky dory and okay, but at a point in time it is definitely going to become unbearable. Remember, here Bhagwan and Supreme Consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna, is talking, keeping aside the worldly understanding which is at place right now. What is the understanding of the world right now? In worldly, the objective scientists have given us a meaning of life, that living for oneself is the goal of every human being. That is natural for every human being. That is the worldly understanding of life. And you know, I'm going to peel this in quite depth and detail now. There are many aspects you have to bring out to understand this thing correctly. So Bhagwan is saying something which is completely opposite of the worldly understanding, so to say. Worldly understanding is clear. Every human being lives for their fulfillment of their own desires. That is the worldly understanding. And Goswami Tulsidas ji also says this in Ramcharitmanas Kishkinda Kand, and he says this there: Surnar Muni sabki yah riti, swarath lagi karai sab preeti. He says that, every human being lives for fulfillment of their own desire, and it is part and parcel of every human being's life. And that is something which is natural for all of us, and this is what we see in our life also. In our life also we see the same thing, and this is what we experience in our life. But here is a different level which our scripture, Sanatan Dharma scripture, says. Now I'm going to bring up one description from our mantra, from our Upanishad. It's called Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Now I told you Upanishad gives you the teaching directly. I will bring up that mantra. I'll bring up that entire mantra, and I'll explain you the aspect here, what I'm trying to bring out here. Our Upanishad says this comes in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Adhyay, 4th Adhyay, 4th Adhyay, 5th Brahman, and it comes there, and verse number 6 actually. It comes mantra number 6, verse number, we don't say verse in Upanishad, mantra number 6. So it is Adhyay 4, or 5th Brahman, Pancham Brahman, and mantra number 6. It says, Saho vacha nava are patyuhu kamaya patihi priyo bhavati, atmanastu kamaya patihi priyo bhavati, नवा अरे जायाय कामाय जाया प्रिया भवति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय जाया प्रिया भवति, नवा अरे पुत्राणाम कामाय कामाय पुत्रा प्रिया भवन्ति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय पुत्रा प्रिया भवन्ति, नवा अरे वित्तस्य कामाय वित्तं प्रियं भवति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय वित्तं प्रियं भवति, नवा अरे पशूनां कामाय पशवः प्रिया भवन्ति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय कामाय पशवः प्रिया भवन्ति, नवा अरे ब्रह्मणः कामाय ब्रह्म प्रियं भवति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय ब्रह्म प्रियं भवति, नवा अरे क्षत्रस्य कामाय क्षत्रं प्रियं भवति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय क्षत्रं प्रियं भवति, नवा अरे लोकानां कामाय लोकाः प्रिया भवन्ति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय लोकाः प्रिया भवन्ति, नवा अरे देवानां कामाय देवा प्रिया भवन्ति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय देवा प्रिया भवन्ति, नवा अरे वेदानां कामाय वेदा प्रिया भवन्ति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय वेदा प्रिया भवन्ति, नवा अरे भूतानां कामाय भूतानि प्रियाणि भवन्ति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय भूतानि प्रियाणि भवन्ति, नवा अरे सर्वस्य कामाय सर्वं प्रियं भवन्ति, आत्मनस्तु कामाय सर्वं प्रियं भवति. हे गार्गी, आत्मावारे दृष्टव्यः श्रोतव्यः मंतव्यः निदिध्यासितव्यः मैत्रेयात्मनि खल्वरे दृष्टे श्रुते मते विज्ञात idagam sarvam viditam. This is a line, it's a huge mantra which comes, but I'll tell you the gist of it. Upanishad mantra is from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Upanishad mantra has listed everything what can be dear for us in life. Object, animal, wife, husband, children, anything you can think of, wealth. It says very clearly, nothing is dear to us for the sake of itself. Everything is dear to us for our own sake. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. It says very clearly. A father doesn't love their children for the sake of the children. This is how our natural way of living right now is. See how beautifully Upanishad brings up. So he says, now the thing is, even though it is said there, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati, bhavanti some places, because somewhere it is plural, somewhere it is singular, so bhavati. So bhavati and bhavantis come from anything. Pashunam is a plural. Animals. So it's said bhavanti over there. So it is said like that. So this is a message which is Rishi Yajnavalkya is giving to his wife Maitreyi. He says, Maitreyi, please understand. And this is what the truth of life is all about. That Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. He is telling his wife Maitreyi that please remember, everyone is dear to us for our own sake. Now, the one thing we need to understand from this Upanishad mantra is, what do you mean by Atmanastu? Atmanastu, the literal meaning is myself. Yes, my core self is at the center of everything because it is all pervading, it is omnipresent, omnipotent, and it is the one which is the center of this whole creation. So everything has to circle around it. But today, the way we understand Atmanastu is that for my own selfish self, everyone is. So he says, Maitreyi, that's why I'm telling you, आत्मा वारे दृष्टव्यः श्रोतव्यः मंतव्यः निदिध्यासितव्यः. He says self alone is one thing which is worthy of seeing, shrotavyah, and this is which is drishtavyah, shrotavya, worthy of seeing, worthy of listening, worthy of being reflected upon, and worthy of being meditated upon. Self alone is one thing which is worthy of that. That is what this Upanishad mantra, and this is Shruti itself is saying, that everyone loves things and anything only for their own personal reason. Everyone loves for their own personal reason, and for their own selfish interest, people love each other. See, I'm telling you, Upanishad is loud and clear. It will give direct message. If you are a capable student, then only you will be able to understand. If you don't understand, that's okay, but I'm just telling you what Upanishad is saying. Don't misunderstand Upanishad or anything. Upanishad is right only, but we will take time to understand this in detail. Many people come to me and say that I listen to the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, but I find it very difficult to adapt in life because you are not ready yet. Full stop. That's it. You are not ready yet because you do not have enough punya, you do not have enough grace, you do not have enough karma phala in your thing. So you actively do punya, do service, actively earn punya, actively grow in and develop in love and devotion for God, continuously do good action, you will definitely gain the capability for all these things. So it is said very clearly here, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Everything or everyone is dear to us only for our own sake. So remember, Shruti Mata, Mother Shruti is loud and clear to say, at the center of everything, at the center of all of our love, what is sitting is the core supreme self alone. That is at the center of everything. And remember, apart from the self, there is nothing at all. There is no other object at all. Remember, no other object, nothing in this creation can be a subject of our love apart from the self or God. That is what is made loud and clear over here. Remember, no object, no person has got this ability or capability to become source or the focus of our love forever. That is what we need to remember. World is also dear to us. We may feel that the world is dear to me, so and so is dear to me, so so and so, oh, I am dear to so and so. Remember, the core truth of it is all that is nothing but an illusion. We in Vedant call it as dharma adhyas. Adhyas means superimposition. Dharma, it is superimposition of dharma on them. We are seeing things at a place where it does not exist, and where it exists, it is hidden from us. Remember, dearness or being, love as a subject, actually there is only one dharma and one actually attribute called love. And remember, where it is supposed to be, it does not appear there, and where it appears, it actually is not there. The only source of our love can only be the self and self alone. But where do we see, what do we see as the source of our love? We see in everything apart from ourselves. We call it the source of our love can only be Atma, but where we see it today or where we establish it today is all Anatma. Anatma means that which is not self. Remember, huh? Whether that anatma or that not self is a person, is an object, is a place. Remember, our mind works completely into an opposite direction. And to correct it, our Veda, Sanatan Dharma Vedic Shastra, Vedic scripture is loud and clear that if we try to see the source of love where it is actually supposed to be, remember, we have solved all problems of our life forever. But if our motivating factor in life is our own selfish interest, remember, Ved says that, our Vedic Dharma says, and Goswamiji also says, which is our experience also. Today, our actual motivating factor of our action is our selfish interest alone. On the other side to it, on the contrary to it, Sanatan Dharma thought process is completely different. Sanatan Dharma talks here that we should not do action for our own selfish desires, we should do action for others. Now, I said both the things to you. Now we have to see how we can match both these statements. One is our experience, one is what we see in the world today, and one is what the actual truth is. Now we have to establish a bridge between both of them so that we can pick up aspects what is livable and slowly, gradually make a bridge and live in such a way that we are able to cross over from where we are today to the other side, which is the correct side. Right? So Vedic Dharma is very clear. The thought process of Vedic Dharma is very clear that we should end up doing action with the attitude of sacrifice. We should end up doing actions not for our own selfish interest, rather we should start doing action for others. Whether that other is our family, society, nation, or God. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, through Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna again and again brings out this point that don't have too much fascination for your own desires. Don't have too much focus towards your own desire. Don't have too much arrogance towards your own desire. Don't have too much insistence on your own desire. Rather, develop a habit to start dropping them slowly, gradually, and start breathing day in and day out, living a life devoted to God, for the happiness of God. Wake up every day for him. It will take long time. Out saying it is going to happen tomorrow. Don't think that all these teachings which are being given in Bhagavad Gita is something which can be adapted overnight. I listen one day, next day morning I should be changed. Please don't have that mistaken understanding at all. Don't have that misconception at all. And if you have that kind of a thought process, you will struggle a lot. And then you will come back to me and say that I listened a lot but nothing happened, because your expectation is wrong. Spiritual stamina development is a slow and gradual process. It's not going to happen overnight. Actually, in life, tell me something, no big thing can be achieved overnight. Spirituality is far, far bigger. How can you even think it will be achieved overnight? But be at it. Remember, once you start walking the path of spirituality, trust me, your progress has already begun. How much is a different point, but nobody who walks the spiritual path can say that I remained where I was even after doing it for long. No, you may not be able to see it, but progress is for sure. That is a guarantee given on the spiritual path. So Bhagwan, Supreme Consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna says, slowly, gradually start living in a life, or start breathing for, or doing the work of God. Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna says, when Prajapati created this creation or brought about this creation, at that time itself, within everyone, this aspect of sacrifice was planted in everyone, was put into everyone. And if we are able to live a life full of sacrifice, that is the correct and natural life we are living, because that is something which is inherent in all of us, and we are living according to our inherent qualities. We are living according to our natural way of life, because living a life of sacrifice is the natural way of living life. When Prajapati created us, was he created us with that thought, and he planted that thought also in us, so that we can also continue to do that, but and live a life, so that we develop in life and grow in life, as we move on in life. At this point in life, at our current stature in life where we are today, how you can translate all that I said till now in in these two in the last couple of minutes, what I spoke about the selfish interest and the yagya bhavana and the Vedic philosophical teaching, how you can build that gap. We cannot deny both of them. We cannot deny that, we cannot deny our desires also at the current stature of what we are, and we cannot deny that we have an aspect of compassion and sacrifice hidden in us also. We cannot deny that also. So even those people who end up inflicting pain on others, or who become cruel to some people for some time or something, after inflicting pain on others, remember one thing, there is definitely some amount of sorrow which they all experience. Those of who inflict pain on others, they have to go through, and they do go through this feeling of suffocation inside all of them. And they try to express that outside also, but many of them are not able to do that. Just remember, and there are many examples of those people who have done huge amount of philanthropic work also. I talk about, okay, I don't want to take names, but I'll take one. The founder of Microsoft, of course, he had given lot of his portion of wealth for philanthropy. Where did that feeling of giving away for philanthropy come from? That social work come from? That nobody told him to donate, right? Nobody told him to give up those for the benefit of the society. But remember, it came from the inherent yajna bhavana which is hidden in all of us. It starts manifesting at times. I'm just giving you an example. There are many examples I can pick up before I complete the session for today. Rest we'll take up in detail in the more in the next session. So one example I gave is of the Microsoft founder, who gave up most part of his earned wealth as part of philanthropy, because this is some thought which keeps taking in keeps rising in us as every now and then, in between and all. Now, person can be how much amount of selfish a person could be, but remember, uh, when even a selfish person in front of a selfish person also, if while walking somebody falls down on, it comes naturally in that person to help him get up or not let him fall. Where did this feeling come from? Even a core selfish person also, when he's walking down the road, he will also have the attitude of helping wherever he can. Remember why? Because when he sees somebody else in pain, that thought which is embedded in us, it starts to rise and starts to force us into action, pushes us into action. And uh, when I'm just giving you another example, somebody is traveling by the road and you suddenly see an accident. Some people who are crossing by, they want to help, but they don't want to fall into some legal trouble. Also, by helping also, some people get into legal trap. In earlier times it used to be there. Now I think legal process have been amended also, so that those people who can come forward to help can help. Like, just remember, somebody met with an accident and is lying down there. People are passing by because they don't want to touch it. They don't want to get into legal trouble. Even though that thought of legal trouble, well, that hesitation is there not to go and help. But remember, there is a pain which comes. This poor man is suffering. I have seen people who are crossing by also, but they'll stop ahead, call up ambulance or police so that somebody can come and help them. Even if they are not ready to, they have not have that attitude of helping. Why? Because they don't want to get into legal trouble and all. And if someone, they see on the road that someone is troubling someone else, of course people do come for help. Where does that attitude of helping comes from? Where does that, if the capability is there, the person will jump into who others fight also to help stop it and all. If a life of self-centered, self-centric and selfish life would have been something which is natural, then these kind of thoughts which I explained in the examples would not have come in anyone actually. In everyone, the thought of helping others is natural in all of us. Let me tell you straight away, okay, on this front also. you know uh, Even some terrorists also, oh, of course they are doing the most cruel action. They need to be punished. They have a lot of punishments which should be given to them. But you see, in their own personal lives, they must have helped someone also, whether it is before becoming what they become now, or whether it is at the time also. There is that thought embedded in all of us. It is natural in every human being. Remember this, the spirit of yajna is something, or spirit of yajna or swaha is something which is natural in all of us. All of us have it. Yes, the only difference is we may be able to express it depending upon our capabilities. Some may not be able to express it at all. And those people who contribute also for spiritual causes, religious causes, or to other things also, where did that thought come from? As a guru can give you only avenues to come forward and contribute, but guru cannot force you to do it, right? That bhavana of contributing comes from within, because this yajna bhav is embedded in all of us. The bhav of giving someone, helping someone, contributing to someone, supporting someone is something which is part of our natural inherent process. It is something which is hidden in us, embedded in us naturally, and that is why its manifestation also comes every now and then whenever an opportunity comes. I'll tell you one thing honestly, on the front of contribution also, I'm saying, you know for the contribution thing also, whenever a religious guru or anyone reaches out to people, of course they give you avenues to contribute, but they also see lot of hesitation, lot of selfish interest of people which holds them back, lot of their own particular nature, habit which holds them back. But there are some who are so good that it naturally flows in them. Of course, that is how the natural way of living is. And those who do, they are contributing for their own growth and development. They are contributing for their own Vedantic understanding. That is the way of yajna bhav in a spiritual life, so to say. This much for today. There are more details to it which we'll see in the next session. Kayena vacha manasendriyaiर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम तत्सत्।